Hi, guys. I'm Laura Foster. I'm the VP of Product Marketing at Innovid. So, those that aren't familiar with Innovid, we are a cross platform ad delivery, creative personalization, and TV measurement company. And I'm here with Andrew Sneyd.
Yes, I'm the EVP of marketing at FanDuel, America's #1 sports book, and
Nice
really
plug.
excited. Yeah, thanks. Feel free while you're in a geography in the United States to download the app and become a customer. We'd love to have you.
Amazing. So I had ChatGPT. I'm just kidding. I did a lot of my own research around FanDuel to figure out where you guys started, where you came from. I live in California, so I feel like FanDuel is absolutely everywhere. But I live in a state that allows it, which I think is very interesting. I also think, in our prep call, we talked a lot about how FanDuel at its heart is an e-commerce brand. And so much of e-commerce is all around mass awareness, mass reach. But for FanDuel, you actually do have to take a state and a regional approach given US legislation. So I want to hear a little bit more about that in your own words and what that requirements that makes you do in terms of your marketing efforts.
Yeah, we're obviously, importantly, a really regulated business, and we have business fantasy that's in California, racing that's across the country, and sportsbook is now legal in 19 states. And so we have a very rigorous onboarding program of making sure that people genuinely are from the state that they're signing up to, and then we need to really know our customers well. So social security information, banking, et cetera, to make sure that they are ready to participate with the kind of requirements that are there to sign up to be a banking customer. So we've got that side with the duality of, man, it's just really fun to be part of this lightweight way to enjoy sports more. So we have the balance of trying to understand how we're really strong in reducing friction for sign up in places where people can become a sports betting customer, and then just trying to build our brand now in enough states that we can do that nationally, and with the momentum of this great growing category, to do it in a way that can be really fun and help people appreciate what it's like to become someone that can enjoy sports in a different way by being able to have a little action on the game.
Yeah, I love it. I have become more and more of a sports fan over the years, especially, the loss of it during COVID was actually incredibly hard for me. I could not believe it.
It was tough for us, as you can imagine. We had a lot of people very interested in table tennis from Korea. Suddenly, we let people bet on Big Brother results, like whatever we could do to find something
Yeah,
to keep
find
our
something
fans
out.
interested.
Is that continuing? Or are people betting on things like Big Brother or The Bachelor or
Well, because we're a regulated operator, there's
Yeah,
only
okay.
things that are allowed, but people still bet on Korean table tennis.
Yep.
Some people got excited about who they know are really good at that, and it continues to this day.
It's freaking awesome. I got to get into it. As soon as I get home, after the salad, the shower, and the napping for 24 hours. Um, so I think a lot of people at this event are going to talk about the term TV. TV is one of those terms that doesn't mean anything anymore. It's kind of like data. You need to put a qualifier in front of it, or better example, kind of like car. What kind of car are we talking about? And so TV today, more than linear, more than streaming, it's all converged. How do you guys define TV at FanDuel?
Honestly, at the core, TV is the second screen for us. So there was a lot of talk of second screen for a long time. I think Twitter is genuinely part of second screen.
Yep.
For a sports bettor that has excitement and action on the game, our app and how they're doing progressing to win their 5-leg parlay is the first screen, and the television is the way that you get to enjoy how those results are tracking. So that probably first and foremost as we think of the TV as the second screen.
Love that. That's so unique.
And then, for us, the gateway into the TV, Perry's here from Wyden Kennedy, and Neil actually broke it down wonderfully for us that the TV is actually and our part of it is the third big disruption in sports. So the first was ESPN, that brought everyone around the country able to appreciate athletes from whichever city they played in. So that connected us. Then the second one was HDTV, that made the action better at home to enjoy than being in the stadium, and you could now appreciate like the play at a level you couldn't see before.
It got so good, no one wanted to go to the
Yeah,
stadium
suddenly
anymore.
Jerry Jones has to build a really expensive television to compete with that. Uh, but now the third one is it's no longer a passive sit back experience. We find our fans are much more engaged in wanting to be in the action in the television, betting with the players that they think are going to make the next touchdown or get more than 8 rebounds, and that puts them actively in the game and experiencing it differently. And we actually see an average fan that's avid for the NFL with a bet on the game is 24% more likely to be watching the game. So now we have the leagues and the broadcasters much more interested in participating with us to grow their viewership.
That's probably going to be my biggest takeaway. Thinking of TV as the second screen is something that I think all marketers need to be aware of, because there isn't a single time, whether I'm watching sports or whether I'm watching, you name it, something horrible, I'm sure, that I don't have my phone either in my hand. I haven't dust set it down. My lock screen doesn't even go on when I watch TV. It's
No,
always
I know,
sort
I'm
of
the same.
around me. They're going to attack. Just get ready
It's
for
okay.
it.
We can defend ourselves.
So you mentioned Wyden and Kennedy, and you obviously have a massive support team helping you buy media both at the local level, but the regional level, the national level, brand awareness, and lots of different goals in that. In our prep call, you mentioned it's actually not that easy to become a customer. So I wanted to talk a little bit about that and make people aware of some of the challenges of that, and then talk about team coordination. I think we all would be a little afraid to admit how in silos we work. But how do you get directions? How does it funnel down to the individual teams, set KPIs across everything you're doing from your different media buying channels, et cetera?
Yeah, wow, that's a great question. So it starts with we want to be, and we're lucky that we have been so far, the most efficient acquisition engine in the category. So we get very excited to spend as little as we need to get the most number of customers on the platform and then have the best customer experience to keep them. And trying to keep it that simple is really helpful. We break it down, obviously, this whole industry is only 5 years old, legalized sports betting. So we still have a lot of work to just generally raise awareness for the brand. We were very lucky that in our first Super Bowl effort, we decided to show up not as an advertiser, but as part of the game. And so, working with Rob Gronkowski, sitting across from him and saying, hey, we want to do a live commercial, have someone kick a field goal. If they make it, America wins $10 million. And Rob, I want that to be you. And he
No
looked
pressure.
at me and said, but I catch, I don't kick. We said, perfect. Let's use that line in the ad. And that's why it's fun. You're a bit of fish out of water. You've been on a football field at the highest levels and you've never done this before. Anyway, long story that really helped us build customers through to the Super Bowl, which is what we need to do with amazing sign up. And we grew our awareness by 11 points, which is, I'm a gray-haired man in marketing. I know how hard
You have
it
hair,
is to
it's
do
fine.
that. So incredible performance from the campaign. We're delighted that it's shortlisted here at Cannes. But that's clearly one of the things we need to do is become more a part of the culture of sport and just people being aware of us as America's #1 sports book and the best place to bet. When we get into the details, we can be really precise with first-party data about the impact of what our marketing is doing to drive sign-up and to drive more frequency of betting from the customers we already have. So incredibly fortunate. I worked in CPG for a long time and did not have these advantages. It's very fun to start realizing where you're wasting money and
whoa, we
stopping
can
doing
measure
it.
that? Oh my God.
Now it's imperfect, but
Yeah.
we are doing a really good job of trying to make that work for us well.
Yeah, that's a really good segue to my next question. It's almost like you knew it was coming. You can measure it all for the most part. There's some gaps, right?
Yeah.
How often are you actually rolling it up together, looking at it and going, okay, I know exactly what's driving, which individual state, and what would be your recommended cadence for looking at that?
So we have to look at it really frequently. So unlike other categories, the content that's relevant today is very relevant up until tonight's 7 p.m. kickoff or 7 p.m. tip off. And so we have a large creative team that's constantly refreshing more of the bottom funnel content that's going to help people with context to sign up today. And so we do a lot of work to understand the themes of what's working that can be relevant in the content that we build tomorrow. And even within our television work, we're reviewing response on a weekly basis and adjusting what networks we lean into, which content is doing better than others to lean more into or pull back. We even use YouTube as our canary in the coal mine to learn within 3 hours which content's more likely to work on television.
Oh,
So
that's
we have
very
a
smart.
strange, content there are parts of our content that are very relevant for a very short period of time. So we have to learn very quickly what's going to work better.
Yeah. So it's not only just media optimization, where to buy, but it's also messaging optimization, what's going to work best with the audience. And you use some, more lower funnel channels, maybe not
Yep.
YouTube, your funnel, but same, to figure out what will work in your more premium placements.
Absolutely. And, like everyone, good A/B testing, but with the response rates that come with having the customer interface through our app and being able to measure the spikes that come well versus what should have been expected gives us a lot more information, even if we can't cookie someone or have first party data working with a social media partner.
Yeah.
That time bound content helps.
Yeah, for sure. Are you guys messing around with anything that's Innovid likes to say more in the advanced creative realm, QR codes, stuff like that to drive in the moment action?
Yeah, you know what? We've got another great story from Wyden Kennedy. So they have a group of summer interns called the Kennedys.
Love it.
And they were thrown what should FanDuel do for the World Cup? And they presented an amazing idea. Like, genuinely, we should hire those people. So they
I hope they're listening.
we created FanDuel Fan Fuel for the World Cup because the games are going to be at weird times in the U.S. and we're going to help all of Americans not sleep on Team USA. And so we're making an actual coffee called Fan Fuel with a women's group. And on carts in key cities, you're going to be able to not just get a nice sample of coffee in the morning, but there'll be a QR code there where you can directly bet on Team USA to win the World Cup.
Yeah.
So
good job, interns. Crushed it. That's incredible. I love that. I have a lot of little sayings. My mom has a lot of little sayings. When she says them, her name is Gail. I call them Gailisms.
Nice.
Maybe I'll get some Laura-isms someday. But I like to say that insight without action is useless. It's just data. It's the moment you take that insight and make it actionable that it's actually important. You mentioned you're optimizing creative and media. Any big surprises over the years that you've had there? Things you thought maybe were going to perform better that didn't perform as well? Or a more optimistic, positive story of things you thought weren't going to perform well and actually did?
First of all, I love Gailisms. I didn't realize that was the name of some
Plug
weird
for my
sayings
mom.
that I've had in the past. The insight without action, I, as a Canadian, make it's got to have a rock in the snowball. So Gail and I share a little bit of the same. Or else it doesn't make impact.
Yeah.
It just poofs.
Yeah.
The example is not from FanDuel. When I worked at Anheuser-Busch, one of the things that I found was incredible was work that we did that was on Better World initiatives. So when I was running the Stella Artois brand, the most responsive piece of work we had was actually the work where we were helping to make the world a better place by providing water and the opportunity for women to not spend their lives dragging clean water to their villages, but instead building water pumps in villages. And if you ordered Stella Artois, you'd be able to help fund these initiatives. And we put it on air expecting that it was just a nice fluffy thing for the brand.
Yeah.
But it turned out to be the most persuasive at actually selling the beer. And so sometimes we need to make sure that we don't underestimate that people want to vote for the brands that are doing good things around them.
Yeah.
And it can what you think is light brand content can actually become really persuasive work.
I think especially now, it's so incredibly important. Um, I think sports is so interesting. Sports is, keeping linear alive, live events as well, but mostly sports, right? Any advice for those that are buying linear, buying streaming, buying programmatically, buying direct, PMP, other acronym, in terms of how they're going to deal and handle with that fragmentation and the learnings you can help them with?
Man, I wish I had this answer. I'm sure someone in here will be able to help me with
Shout
that.
it out if you've got it.
If someone's got that answer, please put your hand up and let me know. Honestly, we're just doing a lot of experimentation and trying to make sure. We are lucky that we have our own customer data and we can see the impact. But the world changes so quickly that what we learned 3 months ago may not be the same today. And I think it's genuinely having an open mind, having an ongoing curiosity and experimentation agenda. And I think it could only get harder is the problem. We're going to need to keep testing at a pace that's faster than we do today in order to stay in front of this.
Yeah, I think that's exactly right. The world is not going to be the same even in the next 5 minutes. Okay, we're moving on to our fun questions portion.
Is this the speed round?
No. Well,
okay.
We can go slow. We'll take it easy on you. Any sports gaining popularity? You talked about Korean table tennis, but outside of the expected, any others gaining popularity in terms of betting? Or, I forgot the word. Any weird bet combinations that you're seeing that are kind of taking off right now?
Well, I'll say one of the things that usually surprises people is when people are wagering today, 70% or more of the betting is actually on player props. So I want to see if that person gets X points or rebounds, touchdowns, as opposed to just the outcome of the game. And they love putting them together to turn a little $5 bet into the possibility of $400. That's fun.
Yeah.
But the thing that's growing, we were really excited to see the start of this WNBA season is continuing the momentum around women's basketball. So we have a very large growth year on year happening, and you can feel the momentum that's there coming out of March Madness. It was exciting to wake up one morning and that Friday night NCAA March Madness game with Iowa was in our top 5 sports the day before, and we're not used to seeing that. So that was great, and we're a partner with the WNBA, and we're excited to see their growth.
That's incredible. All right, final fun question. Top tier talent. You have Grant. You have Barkley. Who's your dream spokesperson?
Man, those two are fantastic.
I know.
You know what? They both share. Yes, they were amazing athletes, but they are not afraid to be themselves and take risks. And I do think there's, when thinking about spokespeople, so much of it is whether or not they're up for stuff. Like genuinely sitting across from Rob and saying, we want to do a live ad of you kicking a field goal. He's never kicked one. And he's like, I'm in. Can I wear
and he wrote the copy
one-bar
for you.
helmet? Like, sure. I think he's in. He's asking in his wardrobe. And Charles Barkley as well. Like, what a great personality.
Yeah.
And I do think it takes someone that cares, someone that wants to lean in rather than earn a paycheck. Not that we don't pay them. But, to find a genuine partner that wants to work to build a brand is rare. And we're very lucky to have those two and others in our group of talent that are great to work with.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Andrew.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Laura.
Thank you, Brand Innovators.